Go to your fridge right now. I mean it. Get up, walk to your fridge, open it, and look at the milk. The carton or the jug sitting on the shelf that you poured into your child's cereal this morning. The one you put in your coffee. The one you hand your toddler every single day without a second thought, because milk is just milk. It is supposed to be one of the most natural things in the world. A cow makes it. You buy it. Your family drinks it. What could be in there? More than you want to know, but you need to know it anyway. Because what happens inside a conventional American dairy operation before that milk reaches your refrigerator is one of the most deliberately hidden supply chain stories in the American food industry, and the organic label you switch to escape it has its own problems that the label was not designed to reveal. Let me tell you about recombinant bovine growth hormone first, rBGH. It is a synthetic hormone developed by Monsanto, the same corporation behind Agent Orange, PCBs, and Roundup. The FDA approved rBGH for use in dairy cows in 1993. The same year, Canada reviewed the same data and banned it. The European Union reviewed it and banned it. Australia banned it, Japan banned it, the United States approved it. And from 1993 until this moment, American dairy cows have been injected with a synthetic growth hormone that every other developed country in the world decided should not be in the food supply. Here is what rBGH does. It forces a cow to produce significantly more milk than her body would naturally produce. That artificial demand puts her body under enormous physical stress. The stress leads to mastitis, a painful infection of the udder, at catastrophically high rates. The USDA reports that 1 in 4 dairy cows in the United States suffers from clinical mastitis. 1 in 4. And mastitis is now the second leading cause of death on American dairy farms. The infected cow needs antibiotics to treat the mastitis. The antibiotics end up in the milk supply. A peer-reviewed study found that a majority of conventional milk samples tested positive for antibiotic residues. 2 of the antibiotics detected in those samples are banned from dairy production in the United States. They showed up anyway. Now here is the IGF-1 connection that nobody in the dairy industry wants to talk about. When a cow is treated with rBGH, her body produces elevated levels of insulin-like growth factor 1. IGF-1 is a naturally occurring hormone in both cattle and humans that promotes cell growth. Peer-reviewed research has found that conventional milk contains up to 3.2 times more IGF-1 than organic milk, and IGF-1 promotes cell growth without discrimination, including cancer cell growth. Studies have found associations between elevated IGF-1 levels and increased risk of breast cancer, prostate cancer, and colon cancer. The Breast Cancer Prevention Partners and other research organizations have cited this connection specifically. The FDA approved rBGH anyway, the EU banned it anyway, and the milk in your refrigerator from a conventional brand may have been produced by a cow injected with it. Now about somatic cells. This is the part the dairy industry has fought hardest to keep away from public conversation. When a cow has a mastitis infection, her immune system responds by sending white blood cells, called neutrophils, to the infected udder. These are the same cells that form pus in any infected tissue in any mammal. The presence of these cells in milk is measured by what the industry calls the somatic cell count. The US dairy industry allows up to 750,000 somatic cells per milliliter of milk. That is nearly twice the limit allowed in Europe, which caps it at 400,000. The average somatic cell count in US milk is 204,000 cells per milliliter. That number is at the level that the National Mastitis Council, the dairy industry's own organization, describes as typical of a likely infected udder. The pasteurization process kills the bacteria associated with the infection. It does not remove the cells. It does not remove the byproducts of infection. It cooks them. You are drinking pasteurized milk that came from a likely infected udder, and the cell count limit that makes this legal in America is nearly double what Europe decided was acceptable. That is the landscape before we get to the brands. Now let us go through the 11 on the avoid list and finish with 3 that are actually worth buying. Number 11. Dean's Milk and Dairy Pure. Dean Foods was the largest dairy company in the United States. In 2019, Dean Foods filed for bankruptcy, one of the largest corporate collapses in American dairy history. The company processed milk from thousands of conventional farms across the country under brand names including Dean's and Dairy Pure, blending milk from hundreds of different farms into a single product to achieve consistency at scale. The blending is the specific problem. When milk from hundreds of farms is combined into a single batch, the testing of that batch for antibiotic residues, hormone levels, and somatic cell counts reflects an average. An average means some of the source farms in that blend may have been producing milk at levels that would fail the test independently. The blend pulls the numbers to the average. The milk in the carton came from the average, not from any specific farm you can verify. Dean Foods is now operating under new ownership after bankruptcy. The supply chain practices that produce the conventional milk at scale have not been replaced by the bankruptcy. Number 10. Borden Milk. Borden is one of the oldest dairy brands in America. Elsie the Cow, 1857. Heritage and nostalgia, doing enormous trust-building work on every carton. Borden Dairy also filed for bankruptcy in 2020, struggling with the same cost pressures and market shifts that brought down Dean Foods. Borden sources from conventional dairy farms using standard American industry practices. The rBGH policy at Borden has varied by region and ownership structure through multiple bankruptcy proceedings. The company has not maintained a consistent public commitment to rBGH-free sourcing across its full product line. The heritage on the label predates the problems by over a century. What is in the carton today has nothing to do with 1857. Number 9. Lactaid. Lactaid is owned by H.P. Hood. It is the most purchased lactose-free milk in America. It markets specifically to people with lactose intolerance who want the benefits of dairy without the digestive consequences. The lactose-free positioning creates a health and care messaging framework that implies the product was formulated with particular attention to what goes into it. In September 2024, H.P. Hood recalled certain Lactaid 96-ounce milk cartons shipped to retailers and wholesalers in 27 states across the country because the product contained undeclared almonds, an allergen that was not on the label, in a product sold specifically to people with a dietary sensitivity. The people most likely to be carefully managing what goes into their body bought Lactaid precisely because they thought someone was carefully managing the label. The almond was in the product. The label did not say so. Number 8. Great Value Milk from Walmart. The same supply chain problem that follows Great Value across every category on this channel follows it here. Walmart does not operate dairy farms. Walmart holds supply contracts with processors. Those contracts rotate. The conventional dairy farms producing milk for the Great Value label operate under standard American industry practices. No rBGH-free commitment published. No named sourcing farms or facilities. No batch-level transparency on somatic cell counts or antibiotic residue testing. The label is a price decision and a procurement contract. Everything behind it is invisible to the consumer, standing in the dairy aisle. Number 7. Fairlife Ultra-Filtered Milk. Fairlife is owned by Coca-Cola. It is positioned as the premium protein-enhanced filtered milk option. More protein, more calcium, less sugar. The filtration process is real, and it does concentrate the nutrients the marketing highlights. What the marketing does not highlight is what happened in 2019. An undercover investigation by Animal Recovery Mission inside Fair Oaks Farms, one of Fairlife's largest supplier farms, revealed documented animal abuse, including workers beating, throwing, and kicking calves, and footage of sick and injured animals. The investigation was published and went viral. Fairlife cut ties with Fair Oaks Farms and stated the abuse was unacceptable. The abuse happened inside the supply chain of a brand that positioned itself as the premium, better choice. The premium filtering system and the protein concentration do not extend to the sourcing standards for the animals producing the milk. Fairlife does not publish farm-level sourcing transparency. Number 6. Organic Valley Ultra-Pasteurized Milk. Organic Valley is a cooperative of family farms, and for most of its product line, it deserves significant credit. The organic certification is genuine. The farmer-owned cooperative model is more transparent than any of the corporate brands on this list. The concern here is specific to the ultra-pasteurized product line. Ultra-pasteurization heats milk to 280 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 seconds. This kills everything. It extends the shelf life dramatically. It also destroys heat-sensitive enzymes and alters the protein structure of the milk in ways that make it harder for some people to digest. The beneficial bacteria that survive standard pasteurization do not survive ultra-pasteurization. The vitamins that are not heat-stable are reduced. What you are left with is a milk that passes the organic certification for what was put into the cow before milking, but has been processed so aggressively after milking that what ends up in the carton has fewer of the benefits associated with organic dairy than the carton's premium price implies. This is not a fraud claim. It is a transparency gap between what the organic label communicates and what ultra-pasteurization does to the milk after the organic standard was met. Number 5. Horizon Organic. Horizon is the largest organic dairy brand in America. It is owned by White Wave Foods, which is owned by Danone, a French multinational. In December 2024, Horizon Organic Dairy recalled 19,688 cases of Horizon Organic Aseptic Plain Whole Milk. That is 236,256 individual 8-ounce cartons. The reason was potential premature product spoilage during shelf life. The recall was escalated by the FDA to a Class 2 designation in January 2025, meaning the product could cause temporary or reversible adverse health consequences. The cartons were distributed across multiple states. The recall came from the brand that built its identity entirely around the organic promise and the idea that you were making the safer, more careful choice. Beyond the recall, Horizon has faced long-standing questions about whether its organic practices meet the spirit of the organic standard. Cornucopia Institute, which monitors organic certification integrity, has consistently given Horizon low scores in its organic dairy farm rating system, finding that some Horizon supplier farms have been accused of operating at industrial scale that is inconsistent with genuine organic pasture access requirements. Number 4. Store brand organic milk from Walmart, Target, and Kroger. The organic seal on a store brand milk at a major retailer is doing significant trust work for a price point that does not reflect the true cost of organic dairy production. Genuine organic dairy from small farms with real pasture access costs more than what store brand organic milk sells for in most grocery chains. When the price of an organic product is lower than what it should cost to produce it to standard, the standard is being met in the narrowest possible way. Minimum pasture access requirements. Maximum herd size permitted under organic certification. The certification is real. The spirit of what organic was supposed to mean is not visible in the supply chain, behind a store brand organic label at a budget price point. Number 3. Shamrock Farms Milk. Shamrock Farms is an Arizona-based conventional dairy that markets heavily on its hometown Arizona heritage and family farm imagery. It is one of the largest conventional dairies in the Southwest. Shamrock Farms milk comes from cows that may be treated with rBGH. The brand does not carry a consistent rBGH-free commitment across its product line. The conventional dairy practices, including high somatic cell count tolerance, antibiotic use for mastitis treatment, and hormone supplementation, are standard operating procedure in the supply chain behind the Shamrock label. The family farm imagery is real, in the sense that the Shamrock family owns the business. The farming practices behind the imagery are as industrial as any other major conventional dairy operation. Number 2. Nestlé Coffee Mate and Nestlé Carnation Evaporated Milk. These are processed dairy products, rather than fresh milk, which matters for this specific reason. Nestlé sources dairy ingredients from conventional supply chains in the US and internationally. The processing removes some of the nutrients. The ultra-high temperature treatment for shelf stability applies the same destruction of heat-sensitive components discussed in the Organic Valley entry. In 2021, internal Nestlé documents leaked to the press, in which the company acknowledged that more than 60% of its food and beverage portfolio did not meet a basic nutritional threshold the company considered healthy. Coffee Mate, which contains hydrogenated oil, corn syrup solids, and sodium caseinate, alongside dairy components, was specifically in that category. The product that sits next to the milk in the dairy section or on the shelf was described by the company's own internal assessment as not meeting a basic definition of healthy. Right here. Before we get to number 1, I want you to do something right now. Look at the milk in your fridge. If it is any of the brands on this list, pull it out and set it on the counter while you watch the rest of this video. And if you want a complete brand-by-brand verdict for milk and every other food category we have covered on this channel, everything is inside the Product Exposed Shopping Guide 2026. It is the guide we built specifically for moments like this one. The link is in the description. Now back to number 1. Number 1. Any conventional store brand or private label milk with no rBGH-free commitment and no published testing transparency. This is the number one position, not because a single brand is uniquely the worst, but because this category represents the majority of milk sold in America. Generic store-brand milk at grocery chains across the country operates under the full permission set of American Conventional Dairy Law, rBGH permitted. Somatic cell counts up to 750,000 per milliliter permitted. Antibiotic residues within FDA tolerance levels permitted. No disclosure of which farms supplied the milk required. No publication of somatic cell testing results required. The carton shows a green field, maybe a cow, maybe the words fresh or wholesome. The regulatory framework behind that carton allows for what by European standards would be considered contaminated milk. You are buying by the label. The label was designed to not tell you any of this. Now here are the 3 that are actually worth putting in your family's fridge. Best option number 3. Maple Hill Organic 100% grass-fed milk. Maple Hill is a New York-based organic dairy cooperative that requires 100% grass-fed practices from every farm in its network. Not partially grass-fed, not grain supplemented with organic grain. 100% grass, pasture-raised from the first day to the last. The nutritional profile of milk from 100% grass-fed cows is meaningfully different from grain-supplemented organic milk. Higher omega-3 fatty acids, higher conjugated linoleic acid, higher fat-soluble vitamins. The Cornucopia Institute consistently rates Maple Hill among the highest-scoring organic dairy brands for genuine pasture access and organic integrity. No rBGH by definition, because rBGH is prohibited under organic certification. Available at Whole Foods and natural grocery chains. The price reflects the real cost of feeding cattle the way they were designed to eat. Best option number 2. Alexandra Family Farm Organic A2 Milk. Alexandra Family Farm in Northern California is the first certified organic regenerative dairy in the United States. They raise Jersey cows on pasture year-round, using regenerative farming practices that go beyond the standard organic certification. The A2 designation matters for a specific reason. Most commercial dairy cows have been selectively bred over decades to produce a milk protein called A1 beta-casein, which research has associated with digestive discomfort and inflammatory responses in some people. Jersey and Guernsey cows produce predominantly A2 beta-casein, the protein structure found in human breast milk, and in the milk our ancestors consumed before industrial breeding changed the cattle. Alexandra's A2 milk is certified organic, certified regenerative, and comes from cows on genuine year-round pasture. Independent testing confirms the nutritional profile. For anyone who has ever experienced digestive issues with conventional milk and attributed it to lactose intolerance, A2 milk is worth testing first because the reaction may be to the A1 protein rather than to lactose. Best option number 1. Organic Valley Whole Milk, not ultra-pasteurized. Organic Valley appears on the avoid list at number 6 in the ultra-pasteurized form, and on the safe list at number 1 in the standard pasteurized form. That distinction is the entire story. Organic Valley is a farmer-owned cooperative. The organic certification is genuine and verified. The Cornucopia Institute rates Organic Valley significantly higher than Horizon for genuine organic pasture practices. The standard pasteurized version, not the ultra-pasteurized shelf-stable cartons, is processed at lower temperatures that preserve the heat-sensitive enzymes and maintain more of the nutritional profile that makes organic grass-fed milk worth the premium. No rBGH by organic certification. Pasture access required. Farmer-owned, which means the people making the sourcing decisions are also the people producing the milk. Available at Whole Foods, Kroger, Target, and most natural grocery sections. If you can only make one change in the dairy aisle, switching from any conventional brand to Organic Valley standard pasteurized whole milk is the change that removes the most from your family's milk without requiring a specialty retailer. Here is the one check that changes how you read every milk label for the rest of your life. Look for these 4 words on the front: rBGH free or rBST free. If those words are not on the front, the milk may have come from cows treated with synthetic growth hormone, and the brand is not committing to not using it. That is a 4-second check. It costs nothing. And it immediately separates the brands on this list into 2 categories: the ones that made a commitment and the ones that did not. Share this with every parent in your life who pours milk into their child's bowl every morning. They are doing it because they were told milk does a body good. Now they know what else it might be doing. And subscribe so you are here when we cover the next product sitting in your kitchen that has never once been questioned.